The final Premier League fixtures in 2024 are set to take place during this weekend and a little beyond, actually stretching into New Year's Day for the final of the games that I'm going to cover today in the Matchday 19 review. This will also mark the halfway point of the Premier League season as well, and of course I will be going over my predictions from pre-season for how this season was going to pan out. But it's fair to say it's been a fairly surprising season, so I'm expecting me to get most of my predictions wrong. But what about my predictions for this weekend? Well, let's dive into it, guys. The 5 matches, the 5 things that I'm going to be looking out for most this weekend in the Premier League. So we'll start with the earliest kickoff, strangely kicking off at 2:30 p.m. tomorrow on Sunday, the 29th of December. Leicester City against Manchester City. Two sides really out of form right now. Ruud van Nistelrooy, you know, his honeymoon period is well and truly come to an end. Disappointing home defeat against Wolves. But in fairness, after that they were looking pretty decent against Liverpool. Everybody loses against Liverpool, particularly at Anfield. They did take the lead early on with that one. Andre Ayew doing a good job there to take the lead for the Foxes. But Man City, meanwhile, are the side with the poorest form in the Premier League right now. There is nobody in worse form than them, and they were disappointing last time out against Everton at home in a match you would expect them normally to win fairly comfortably. Although Everton, as we'll cover a little bit later in this preview, have been doing pretty well at keeping the good sides from scoring and actually winning against them in recent times. But how do I see this one going? Well, of course, Van Nistelrooy is a former great of Manchester United. Of course, he was the temporary manager of Manchester United earlier this season as well. So it would be kind of poetic in a way for Leicester City to get a victory against Man City. You know what? The romantic in me is telling me that that's going to happen. So with Man City in such terrible form, all the pressure on them, Leicester needing a victory to get out of the relegation zone because they've just dropped in there thanks to Wolves' good form, I'm going to go for Leicester to win. Screw it, I'm doing it. I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory, my favourite scoreline to the Foxes in the Sunday earlier kickoff. Now to the Sunday 3 o'clockers, and let's start at Goodison Park with Everton against Nottingham Forest. Everton, of course, have frustrated some of the top sides recently. You imagine to get draws against Chelsea, against Manchester City, and also against Arsenal in recent weeks as well. Nottingham Forest, meanwhile, they're in the Champions League spots almost halfway into the season, and they will be in the top 4 come what may at the halfway point of the campaign. The Tricky Trees have been an incredible performer so far this season, but how will they go on against an Everton side that loves to upset the odds? Well, I'm going to sit on the fence. I'm going to say this is going to be a draw because Nottingham Forest seem to do better against sides that they expect to, they do better against the better sides where they can sit back and do them on the counter-attack like they did to Spurs the other week, of course, as well. So I'm expecting them to struggle a little bit against Everton, who are, of course, very stubborn in defence. A Sean Dyche masterclass yet again. I'm going to go with a draw. I don't like going with them, but I'm going to go for a 0-0 draw as well. I think that's going to be not the most entertaining match at Everton on Sunday afternoon. But I do think a very entertaining game will be had at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where Spurs take on Wolverhampton Wanderers. Another 3 o'clock kickoff on Sunday afternoon. Spurs, of course, need to get some form back. They've not been in the best of form recently. Like I said, the Jekyll and Hyde, they are so unpredictable. They're either great or terrible, and they were pretty terrible last time out against Forest. Wolves, meanwhile, have got themselves out of the relegation zone. A couple of wins for them, for their new boss, Vitor Pereira, doing very well. Can he keep it going? Can he get 3 victories out of 3 to start his tenure as Wolves boss? Well, no, I don't think so. I'm predicting Wolves to struggle against Spurs. I think Wolves are one of them sides, this seems like one of them sides that I think are going to go for it more, which is great for them, but I think it is going to not pay off against Tottenham. I think Spurs are going to have the upper hand, but I'm expecting a very entertaining game. I'm going to go with a 4-2 victory for Spurs in this one. I'm going to go for a very fun game indeed in this one. Next up, we're going to head over to Old Trafford for one of the Monday games, the Monday 8 p.m. kickoff, the final Premier League game of 2024. Manchester United against Newcastle United. Again, Man United, a side really out of form. Newcastle, a side in form. Newcastle have managed to get themselves up to 5th and into a Europa League spot as things stand. Nottingham Forest ahead of them as well is a very achievable target for them to overtake them, but they have to win some more games like this. But can they do it? Well, Man United are very much out of form right now. They're in some terrible form. The confidence has really dipped. There was a bit of a new manager bounce when Amorim came in, but they've slumped to 14th in the Premier League. They've lost 4 of the last 5 games of Man United. It's not good. It's really not good. Of course, get a couple of wins together, they can absolutely climb that ladder. Like I said in my review for the previous match day, you know, Man United are only 7 points off of Newcastle in 5th. Their opponents, of course, on Monday night. So how do I see this one going? Well, the form team is definitely Newcastle, but I feel like that trend of Man United losing has to come to an end eventually. Although I don't think it's going to come to an end on Monday. I'm going to go with another draw, an entertaining draw. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw in this one. I think it's going to be a good game, and it won't surprise me if either side wins here, but I'm going to sit on the fence and say this will be quite an even one. And the last game, the first game of 2025, Brentford against Arsenal. Brentford were unbeaten at home before Nottingham Forest came knocking recently. Arsenal, of course, they're in better form now. They're back up to second in the Premier League. How do I see this one going? Well, Brentford, like I said, they're very average away from home. They managed to get a point for only, I think, the second time this season away from home. Last time against Brighton. In truth, though, Brighton were absolutely all over them. Brighton are in a bit out of form at the moment as well. So I think away from home, they're not too great. At home, though, they are fantastic. Arsenal, though, right now, they're in good form and they've got a bit of confidence about them. They're gonna, I mean, they might well be 9 points behind Liverpool by the time this game is played. I would wager they probably will be. I do expect Liverpool to beat West Ham in their match earlier on in the match day. But yeah, I'm still expecting Arsenal to win here, but it's going to be narrow. It's going to be entertaining. You know, Brentford score a lot of goals at home. They win a lot of games at home as well, but I think they're going to come, fall up short in this one. Brentford are not in the best of form at the moment in general. So I'm going to go with an Arsenal victory. I'm going to go with a 3-2 win. I'm going to go over a 3-2 win to the Gunners in this one. I think it's going to be a very good game to kick off 2025. But yeah, there we go, guys. Those are the matches I'm looking out for the most this week in the Premier League as we round off 2024 and get 25 started with hopefully a very entertaining match. Your predictions in the comments below, guys. Which match are you looking out for the most this week? And of course, we'll see you very soon for some more content on the beautiful game right here on the footballchronicle.com. I'll be bringing some videos out just before the year is out as well, going over some of the all the big 6 sides and who they should sign this January and who they should be looking to get rid of as soon as possible, because there's definitely some interesting takes to be had there. So I'm sure you guys will be entertained by that. And also, like I said, my preseason predictions, I will be going over how wrong I was probably for all of the English top 5 divisions, including the Premier League, of course. So yeah, see you soon for that. Have a good one. Have a happy new year when it comes in as well, guys. And of course, let's make this another great year in 2025 on the Football Chronicle. I have been loving all the support you guys have been giving me. Really do appreciate it. So yeah, have a good one, guys. See you soon.